Hello, everybody on Facebook, and thank you, everybody here in Huzzah that has been super patient as we are 20 minutes into the game, but we're getting online finally. So this is one of 5 events that I am hosting, and Stub is hopefully co-hosting along with me, all about the Wine Marketing and Tourism Conference. We are very fortunate to be joined by 3 lovely ladies. January, we see from the Texas Hill Country wineries, which is an association basically, and I'll let her go in and do her proper introduction, and then we have Jennifer McKinnis. There we go. I'm going to let you guys do. Let's go by first name. I'm going to let you do the introductions. And then Amanda. And they are going to share their respective wineries and a little bit more about Monday and Friday's excursions in Texas Hill Country for the Wine Marketing and Tourism Conference. So let me start off with introductions of everybody. January, if you would go first, and then Jennifer and Amanda, and then last but never least, in our hearts, Stub. So January, take it away.
Perfect. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Like Jennifer said, I'm January Lacey. I'm the Executive Director for Texas Hill Country Wineries. We are one of the host sponsors for the Wine Marketing and Tourism Conference this year, along with our partners Fredericksburg CDB and Go Texan. And we're just really excited to have y'all down and be able to show you what we have happening down here in the Hill Country on the wine scene.
Perfect. Jennifer?
Well, I'm the general manager at Bending Branch Winery, and we're also on the Texas Hill Country Wineries. Well, we're in the Wineries Association, which is also known to some as a trail. And we also are sponsoring, or a sponsor of the conference. We'll be pouring some samples and some wine on opening night, I believe. And we're also part of the excursion on Friday, which we'll talk about in a bit.
Yes. And next, Amanda, please introduce yourself.
Yes, I'm Amanda with Flat Creek Estate Winery. We are part of the trail and also hosting an event on Monday for the Wine Tourism Conference.
Perfect. Thank you. And Stub, who are you?
I am Stub from corkheavy.com. I'm a filmmaker, wine blogger, writer, and co-host Wine Antics Live, and soon to be Beyond the Bottle with Jenn here.
Look at that. But that's secret. More to hear about that later on. So because this live show is the first of 5, I just wanted to kind of give everybody a little bit of a background on what the Wine Marketing and Tourism Conference is, and then go into let January tell us a little more what it is to be the host area or the host wine region, and then we'll go into Monday's excursion and Friday's excursion. So the Wine Marketing and Tourism Conference is exactly what it sounds like. It's a wine conference focused on both marketing and tourism, and there's something there for a little bit of something there for everybody. Stub and I are going as industry outsiders. We do video production, we do live video, we do blogging, and we kind of consider ourselves outsiders. But there's some great networking opportunities. There's opportunities to visit and explore a region that you wouldn't normally get all packaged up super nice and neat. And then there's the opportunity to talk to other industry professionals on the tourism side and in the marketing realm that you wouldn't get connected to any other way, and great opportunities to take workshops and sit in on panels like the one that Stub is doing, and we will talk about in later live shows. So I think there's no other better way, there you go, to continue on this discussion of the Wine Marketing and Tourism Conference than to really set the foundation with the wine region that is the host and the heart of how this is successful. And January, I would love if you would kind of set the stage for the Wine Marketing and Tourism Conference from your side of the house, and then go right into talking about the Monday and Friday excursions, if you would.
Sure. I've been attending the it was just the Wine Tourism Conference for 4 years now, and I really have loved all of the sessions. I mean, I have come home with 21 pages of handwritten notes, which never got transcribed to be able to distribute to the membership or anything, but it was really beneficial for me. And so, I mean, selfishly, the main reason that I talked to Ernie from the Fredericksburg CVB about the conference in the first place was to bring it here to hopefully bring that to our members. Not everybody can travel, so that was our first thought, wanting to bring that here. And of course, we want to show off what we have here. Like I mentioned earlier, Texas Hill Country was named one of the top 10 best wine travel destinations by Wine Enthusiast. We're second fastest wine growing destination, second to Napa. And a lot of that has come from the success of our member wineries and their wines across the country, and being able to share that with, I call my colleagues, because most of the people that I'm meeting at the conference are other winery associations. And I just, would love to be able to show off who I get to work with every day. And so for me, that's a huge part of the conference. We've worked really hard to pull together some amazing things. 2 off-site lunches. Oh, I'm getting feedback. Sorry. So 2 off-site lunches, a dinner and tasting on Wednesday night, of course, the opening night expo, and then these excursions, the one on Monday and the one on Friday, which are separate from regular registration. And so to do that, I'm sorry, is that me? Anybody else
I can't hear any feedback, no.
It's just intermittent, January. I would just keep going.
Okay.
Yeah, keep going.
So to do that, the conference is based in Fredericksburg. So we are in the middle of the Hill Country. We will be visiting wineries, of course, that are 20 minutes away at the most for the lunches and the dinner. But we wanted people to see the rest of the Hill Country. And so we've got what we're calling the Southern Tour, and then what we kind of in-house call the Lakes area. So starting on Monday, we'll go to the Lakes area. And we'll visit Stonehouse, Spicewood, and Flat Creek Enoteca. And you'll have dinner at Flat Creek Enoteca, and I will let Amanda talk specifically about what you'll have and what you'll experience there at the Enoteca. This region is about an hour or so out of Fredericksburg, only about a half an hour out of Osto. So it's a really quick, easy day trip. You can base in Austin, head out for the day, and be back in Austin for dinner and cocktails in the evening, which is kind of perfect. They're smaller wineries. They're not those massive, both regions that we're going to, they're not those massive wineries where you have to make appointments. So they're more casual. You're going to run into owners and winemakers on a regular basis. And I think that they'll all show you what they have out there. And then Friday will be to the southern region. So Texas Hill Country covers 15,000 square miles, which is 9 million acres. We have wineries that are 150 miles apart from top to bottom, and now east to west. And so we call the Friday excursion the southern region, or the southern area of the Hill Country. And you'll be visiting Kerrville Hills, which is just south of Fredericksburg, Bending Branch Winery, and Singing Water, which are both based in Comfort, which is a really great, cute little town. And the same feel for those wineries down there. It's off of the main highway where all of the wineries are. And so you'll have a more intimate experience. Again, meet those owners, meet those winemakers, no reservations, that kind of a feel.
Perfect. Thank you. And I think that's a really great segue into allowing Amanda a chance to talk about. We have the Monday excursion, and then we'll go in and talk to Jennifer about the Friday excursion. So Amanda, this is your shot. Tell us all about what we're going to encounter.
Yeah, so Monday, it sounds like you're going to start at Spicewood and then do Stonehouse. Both those are on the south side of the lake. And then we're going to be hitting up the north side of the lake when you come out to see us. So you're going to pass a lot of rolling hills, a lot of beautiful rivers and streams along the way. During dinner at the Enoteca, which is our urban wine bar. So we have 2 locations. We have the vineyard location where I'm at right now. And then we have our Enoteca, which is where dinner will take place. We'll be doing a tasting. We'll sample wines from our estate as well as some wines we bring in from the Texas High Plains. The grapes come from the High Plains. We produce all the wine here. We'll start out with a little Pinot Grigio, some Blanc de Bois, so nice hybrid varietal that Texas is known for. Go into some Tempranillo, Sangiovese, things that we do really, really well. And then a nice Texas-style prime rib dinner to finish it off.
Because nothing says Texas like prime rib dinner, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, vegetarian option.
Oh, okay. Well, it's not what I would have thought going to Texas at all. But I did see that, and that is a nice option to have. And that was one thing I was going to ask you about. What does Enoteca mean? Obviously, it's kind of a more urban downtown. Is it just like a tasting room?
Basically, so Enoteca is an Italian wine term for an Italian wine shop that sometimes offers some artisan fare. All of our food is prepared in our wood-fired oven, so we don't have a regular kitchen with a stovetop and oven. It's all done kind of old school style in a wood-burning oven.
Very nice. And let's see. What should we expect coming out there from the area itself? Are there any unique things that really identify the area of Lake Austin or the lakes area that you guys are very proud of, or that is something that we should take away as attendees or people that are listening here?
Yeah, I really hope that people have some extra time to experience the parks and things that are in our area, because you'll get kind of a sample of it, especially when you're at Stonehouse. You'll be able to see the lake. But if anybody has extra time on their own to go out and visit some of those parks that are in our area, it's a very outdoorsy atmosphere. There's Inks Lake, there's Buchanan, Marble Falls, Travis. There are lots of chains of lakes, and they all feature state parks and local LCRA parks as well.
Perfect. I wish that I wish that I had more time. This is actually the most deep dive that I'll get into the area. I've been out to Texas Hill Country to the extent of just the little area around William Chris. And I fell in love with just that little area, hit about 3 wineries, and that's all I made it to. So I'm excited to get out and see other parts and taste other things. I know the Rhone varietals do very well in that region, but I'm excited to try a Sangiovese and a couple of the other things that you mentioned. What did you say on the white side? I'm sorry, I did not hear that.
Yeah, so a lot of Italian varietals a little more in our area. So we've got Sangiovese, Pinot Grigio, our partners up towards Inks Lake are doing Italianico, Nebbiolo. So you get a little bit more into that Italian and some Spanish flair in that Tempranillo versus kind of the southern Rhone varietals that you discussed at William Chris. A little bit more hills in our area too. A lot of rolling, more trees and more hills, less flat than it is in Fredericksburg.
Oh, very nice. Well, I thank you so much for coming on and sharing a little bit about the winery and a little bit about the region. I was going to say that we would move over to Jennifer, but she seems to have luckily escaped the live stream.
I have a little story.
Yeah, I just want to.
Flat Creek. Oh, go ahead,
Oh,
Stub.
please. No, I wanted to add in here.
Go ahead.
For those of you who don't know, I'm a native Texan. I grew up in Dallas, which is, I don't know, a 3.5 hour drive from the Hill Country area. this is a beautiful, beautiful part of Texas. And for everyone who thinks Texas is, like from the movie Steers and other things, Texas is a beautiful country and has every geographical designation that every other place in the country has, except for glaciers. So this is a beautiful, gorgeous part of the state. And if you haven't signed up for any of these pre or post tours, please consider it, because you're going to get a little further outside of where we're going to be, which is beautiful anyway in Fredericksburg, and see some beautiful land. And at least from my experience, kind of, for the last couple of years, really trying to delve more into the Texas wine scene. You're going to taste some wines and you're going to be really surprised. With Texas being tied for 5th for wine producing states in the country right now with Virginia, which surprises a lot of people. But there's a lot of land in Texas, and the Hill Country is doing it right now. So if you haven't signed up for a pre or post conference, really consider doing it, because you're going to see some cool stuff, and I guarantee you're going to meet some friendly people.
I agree with Stub. I think one of the things that we all experience when we go to conferences, whatever kind of conference it is, if it's a wine conference or whatever it might be, is we're stuck in those conference centers or those hotels for 2 or 3 days. And so that's one of the things we wanted to try and do, is get you out into the Hill Country and get you to see more and give you options to visit these different areas. And like Stub said, see how amazing it really is out here. So I agree. I think that's a great way to get out and see it.
And before I forget, I wanted to share the link to Flat Creek Enoteca for anybody else that would like to go forward and explore. I've shared that over on Facebook and now here on Huzzah. So January, since we lost Jennifer, I would love it if you would share a little. Oh, we did not lose her.
Perfect timing.
Can we hear you though?
No.
Your link expires after one use. I have come to you got 2 out of this one. So I will get you another link, so check your email real quick, Jennifer. And then why don't you, January, share a little bit going into giving me some time to get a link to Jennifer.
Yeah, well, what I was going to say earlier about Flat Creek, so Flat Creek and Stonehouse, the Flat Creek Estate, not the Enoteca, but Flat Creek and Stonehouse are literally right across the lake from each other. It's what, Amanda, 5 miles as the crow flies?
The crow flies, yeah. You swim really good.
And they used to help out at Stonehouse and literally take the boat across the lake, work for the day, and then take the boat back to Flat Creek. It's like the coolest thing ever, how close they are. But then if you're driving around, you've got to go either through Marble Falls or back down around, through part of Austin, and it's 45 minutes. But you get to see that amazing country and see the hills and the trees and, all that goes with it, and the lakes and all that. So I just love that they used to be able to ship their people across the lake on a boat and help each other. It's so awesome.
5 miles across the lake, though. That's not a small lake. That's not a small lake. Yeah.
It's the longest lake in Texas.
Exactly. That's a long lake.
Maybe.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yay.
Amazing. I think is this the proper segue time? I don't even know.
Well, I'm here.
Well, she's here and everything's in perfect condition. Jennifer, why don't you tell us about the Friday excursion that we have to look forward, and a little more about your little slice of Texas heaven?
It really is a nice slice of Texas heaven. It is off the beaten path. So the Friday excursion starts at Kerrville Hills Winery first, which is a really pretty town. A lot of people retire there. They go hunting and fishing, and there's rivers. The Guadalupe River comes through there. And then about 25 minutes south of that is where Bending Ridge Winery is at. And it's in the town of Comfort. So how cute is that? Comfort, Texas. And our wine says, with comfort in a bottle. And we are known mostly for big, bold, dry reds. Our signature grape is Tannat, and so it's a grape that does really well, outperforms everything we've planted here in Texas. And a lot of people haven't heard of it, ever tried it. So, when you get to our place, it's a 56-acre estate, rolling hills, beautiful view. And then about 2 miles down the road from us is Singing Water Vineyards, which is where the excursion will wrap up. But in between Bending Branch and Singing Water, there will be a lunch at High's store. Should know that.
High's Cafe.
High Street Cafe. Thank you. I eat there like four times a week.
Well, just because we just call it High's, because that's what it is.
We just call it High's. It does really great food. It's in downtown Comfort on High Street, and we have another tasting room a couple of doors down. But there's a lot of antique shopping there. It's a very quaint little town that, kind of like not quite the time forgot, but it's definitely back. Slower pace. So everybody will have lunch there, and then we'll go to Singing Water, which is also a really beautiful place. Right there, it backs up to the river, and so you can have wine out at the pavilion or right there on the river, and just a really, really relaxing way to wrap up the rest of the conference.
Yeah, and by then we will all need it. A much slower pace kind of event to end it. We will have been inundated with wine and stimulus from every which way, honestly.
Right. There will be lots of hashtags by then.
Indeed.
So I guess this is a fair question for both you, Amanda, and Jennifer. Are many of the clusters of wineries that in the area or that we're visiting fairly well situated close to each other, so that somebody that we're coming to either Lake Austin or the Guadalupe Valley area, that they could do a good day trip?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Our area is a little closer to San Antonio than Austin, but it's a good day trip. And you could hit, these 3 wineries in addition to, there are many more that are within, 15, 20 minutes from us. So you could hit 3 or 4 in a day easily. And I think the same thing goes for Amanda. But sure.
Yeah, especially that's part of the reason we introduced the Enoteca, is it's very centrally located to a cluster of wineries out around the Eames Lake area, and then the cluster down on the Lake Travis side. And the Enoteca is right there in the middle of them. So from end to end, it's only about an hour, so 15 minutes in each direction to get to each winery. So very, very doable to do, like she said, about 3 or 4 wineries in a day.
And that's perfectly suitable for not being on the drunk bus. Any more than that, you are the drunk bus.
I will tell you.
That's right.
I will tell you that I made 6 wineries in a day once down that way. Kind of coming west from Austin or west, and then heading south and going into San Antonio to visit a buddy. The tastings were very light for me because I was alone. But yeah, it's really cool that you've got this awesome triangle there as well. So you think of Hill Country as Austin, but you're not far from also San Antonio, which is an equally cool town and one of the top 10 largest cities in the country.
It is. It is indeed.
Yeah.
And there are lots of B&Bs in the area if you want to try to attempt 6 wineries in one day.
I would not recommend that if you're not a pro. But
I would not recommend it either.
I don't even recommend it if you are a pro.
I did a lot of spitting and stopped for barbecue 3 times. So,
That was the real excuse. He wanted a reason to stop for barbecue.
I need more
Refuel on the
barbecue.
barbecue.
Yes, I'm going to every barbecue place.
Alfredo here made a comment or made a question/comment about Texas Hill or Texas in general and having wine. And it's very fair. I mean, I feel like every state outside of California gets this question or comment. Like X state has wine, Wow, that's amazing to hear. And every state in the U.S. has a winery. So yeah, every state in the U.S. has some wine. How many does Texas have overall? I know you've got the numbers for the Hill Country, January. How many are? Let's start with in the Hill Country. How many wineries are there?
We have about 65 wineries in the Hill Country. THCW currently has 51 member wineries. Across Texas, though, we're at 350 plus at this point. Yeah, and they're spread. I mean, we have the biggest concentration here in the Hill Country, but we have wineries up in the DFW area. We have wineries in the Gulf Coast, wineries in East Texas, wineries in the High Plains. They're all over.
And
Yes.
and it's not insulting to ask that question because I sometimes think I automatically start to assume before I read that little fun fact that every state has a winery that you assume that places like Atlanta that grapes may be hard to grow, or Florida where it may be hard to grow, that they wouldn't have wineries, but you don't have to have a vineyard to have a winery, and that's why every state can have a winery. And that's right there, your fact of 350 odd wineries in Texas. That's more than we have in Virginia. The Hill Country almost has more than the entire state of Maryland. That's my perspective here up in up in the East Coast, the Upper East Coast.
You know, I find
Yes. No, go ahead, January. I'm sorry.
I find myself doing that too. I mean, I go to conferences or I go to tastings or events and people say Texas wine, you know, people make wine in Texas, but I did the same thing to Kentucky and New Jersey and, you know, all those states that I met at the wine tourism conference right away. And I thought, that's awful of me because people do it to me and it kind of hurts my feelings. And so now I'm, you know, like, to me, the guys from Georgia and Georgia, the country and the state, both, you know, I mean, you have to take it. You can't take it as a surprise anymore.
No. Right. Oddly enough, I've had wine from Georgia, the country, but not Georgia, the state. Interesting. Yeah. No, I know they make it there. I just haven't had any.
I think that Georgia, the state wine that I had was a peach wine. So I don't.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Can I ask also, I know Texas, the winery, some of the ABC laws there are a little weird. And not all Texas wineries can necessarily get their wines out of Texas easily. Is that true still?
You can, as Texas wineries, we have the right to ship direct to consumer. You have to apply on a state-by-state basis. So it varies from winery to winery which states they'll ship to.
Right.
I know we currently ship to about 12.
So I know it's a few points. I've bought wine from Texas that says not for sale outside of Texas. Is that a state thing that the state won't let you, or because other states you don't have shipping license to ship to those other states?
That's actually a federal law. And so you'll see that in other states that say not for sale, or for sale in Texas only, or for sale in Georgia only, or for sale in whatever only. And the best way that I could probably describe that, you can see January laughing, is typically those are grapes that are brought in from other states.
Correct. Okay. Thank you. That's kind of what I was
That's
hoping.
the easy answer.
Yes, exactly. All right.
Good job, Jennifer.
What?
Yes.
Oh, it's like,
thank you.
It kind of tuned out when we started talking about wine laws because they're so
Legally.
they're so cumbersome and
Yes.
so state focused that I can't even keep DC, Virginia, and Maryland straight.
But everyone who goes to the wine marketing and tourism conference and tastes these beautiful Texas wines
Want to take them home?
want to ship wines home. So this could be an issue. That's all I'm saying. I just want to bring it up.
Well, you could pack a box of 12 and buy your case of, a selection of every winery you go to and check it on as your luggage
That is
when you
also
fly
true.
home.
Yeah.
I
That is a fact.
may have a box ready for this. I'm just saying. I may
Pretty
already
sure
have.
I know where you can get a shipper.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I know where you can get a few too.
That's that's a fair point, because I think it's something that isn't really considered in any beverage conference. Like, why isn't there a guy that goes around and hands out his business card and he's like, I have operations set up in this state. I'll make sure that you get your stuff shipped and ready to go home.
So, well, that's a good segue, Jen. Are there shippers or places who specialize in shipping wine or alcohol for you guys, or is each individual winery responsible for dealing with their own license?
Yeah, each winery has to deal with its own license. Each winery is licensed to ship directly.
Right.
It's actually illegal for you to take it to a post office or UPS and ship it.
Right.
Really?
Like if you go to California or Oregon or
Washington, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but
right. No, if you go to California or Oregon or Washington, there are shippers or people who have a shipping license who can ship wine for consumers back to their homes, wherever they may be. And I know in Virginia that does not exist either. So I'm not belittling that. I'm just saying that is an interesting thing.
And there's even what we learned from Oregon and now a couple areas in California that they, as associations, are kind of tackling and ushering ways for people to connect through airlines to get their products shipped home. Like Oregon has Alaska Airlines, and I'm not sure who the Tri-County or Tri-something area near Livermore, California. They have also a shipping agreement through one of the airlines to get products shipped. I know that's a fun little tangent, but it seems like it's something that's very relevant and something that should be considered for these conferences.
That is true. So in Oregon, you can ship, if you buy a case of wine, you can ship it free as your luggage when you fly home, which is pretty awesome. It's something that we have approached. We just haven't gotten very far.
So,
as long as you have us at heart, us consumers at heart, we appreciate that.
We're totally trying. I promise.
I'm guessing you're dealing mostly with Southwest there, out of Austin and San Antonio.
Southwest is actually based out of DFW.
Right, I know.
So we're trying to deal with them, which is really hard because they're not here, and so they don't. I mean, they don't see the impact that we see every day.
Right.
Their admin, I guess, to say the least, up in DFW.
Right.
I mean, they know their numbers, but they just haven't.
Right. No, I was asking. I would think in Austin, San Antonio, you're dealing with Southwest and American probably the most down there, right?
Yeah.
Southwest American, Delta.
No.
But Southwest, your bags fly free anyways, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
Southwest, it's mostly the state of Texas.
Yeah, Alita makes a great point. I love going to, San Francisco and Seattle and Portland. I can fly out on Alaska Airlines with a free case of wine, even if I'm already checking a couple of bags and paying for them. That case of wine flies for free, which is really awesome. And I'm sure someone's kicking them something back for that, but, whatever.
Hey.
That's a whole thing.
Don't ruin it.
No, I'm saying, I'm sure the wineries, there's some reason they're doing that, or they're just trying to get people to fly to wine country on their airlines or whatever, but it's a great benefit, though. It's a great benefit that they do. And I'm sure everyone benefits in some way from it, so.
Absolutely.
All right, we've diverged a bit. I'm sorry.
We have, but this is one of the first live stream shows, and there are some real logistic and what we hadn't talked about, a little bit of the weather concerns. And I talked to January about this because it was such a big thing for the Wine Bloggers Conference, because the difference between the Wine Marketing and Tourism Conference and the Wine Bloggers Conference is that the attendees have such a different I'd say different is a bad term. It's just there's a different level of experience expected. At the Wine Bloggers Conference, you get out in the field and it's near harvest time and weather becomes a huge factor. It was very hot. so you need to prepare for water and shade. With the tourism conference, it's more of the relaxing and the tasting and the enjoyment of each experience. Not necessarily trying to harvest at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm just saying that was not an excursion I was excited for. So we're sorry, I've done that once. Jack, done. So we're looking like we're gonna have some pretty easygoing 70-degree weather for this, right? January?
Yeah, we're typically that early in November, in the 70s. I would definitely suggest bringing a coat for the evenings and the early mornings. But other than that, it'll be really comfortable. I was talking to Jenn earlier about, will we be doing much outside? Of course, the conference will all be basically inside. But I would imagine that some of the wineries on the excursions, that if it is nice weather, you might be, tasting out on the patio or enjoying the pavilions or, that singing water overlooking the river and whatnot. So I would just be prepared for that.
Awesome. And I wanted to, as we're getting close to the top of the hour, give everybody a last final thought. Anything else they would like to share about their winery, about coming in there, about Texas wines, anything that they would like to share. And just because this is the order that I'm going in right now, January, you get to go first.
Yeah, I just want to reiterate that we're really excited to have everybody, all of our colleagues from across the country and beyond, and we look forward to sharing what we have here with you. And if you have any questions at all, feel free to, Facebook us, tweet us, email us, whatever you want. January@texaswinetrail.com. So if you want any more information on the area when you're planning, just reach out and we will help you with whatever you need.
Perfect. And if you type in your email address in the chat, and then on Facebook, we'll make sure that that gets around. What? What, Stub? Stub's not prepared. So we're moving on to Jennifer. Any final thoughts?
I would just kind of echo what January was saying is, it's a really exciting time in the Texas wine industry. We've figured out which grapes grow really well here. It's an up and coming wine region that I think is, a lot of people still don't know that we have great wine in Texas. And so I'm really hoping that some people come and taste some things that they love and learn some things that they didn't know about the Texas wine industry.
I don't know how people don't know. I'm sad, and I hope that so many people's opinion changes, because the only wine club I belong to right now is from Texas. I'm just saying. So Amanda, you are last around the horn. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, I definitely just recommend that everybody join in all the excursions, because each area is so different. As January mentioned, we're many, many miles apart. So if this is going to be your one and only experience of Texas wine, you should join all the excursions so you can get a feel for every area and its uniqueness.
Yeah, and for anybody, I know there's a couple people that were at the Wine Bloggers Conference here in Huzzah, and a reminder to anybody out on Facebook who's watching the replay or now, there is a nice little discount code that Zephyr gave out for the people that joined the Bloggers Conference. It's like 50% off of everything. Hence why I'm going to everything. It ends up being very, very, very affordable to have so many great experiences. So I that as my final thought, definitely encourage people to check out the discounts, how much it really does cost. Thank you, ladies, so much. I'm sure Stub will come back on in a few minutes. I'm personally very excited, and I know Stub is, as he mentioned, to come out and visit, and I look forward to seeing everybody in just about a month now.
Yeah, so, 3 weeks. Oh my God.
January's like, yeah, 3 weeks. Like, oh my God, it's happening.
We're ready. We're ready.
You made it back on, Stub. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, no, I was actually hearing. I don't think I got back on. I heard everything. I just want to say I'm excited. I'm going on every excursion and every possible thing, even being from the area, because I think that y'all have put on a great show for us during the conference, pre-conference excursions, post-conference, giving everyone a great opportunity to see the area kind of top to bottom. And I'm really looking forward to not only attending the conference, but spending a little time back in the homeland. So, I know.
Sad. All right, for
It's been
everybody
a while.
else, for everybody on Facebook, the after party will continue here in Huzzah. So you are welcome to join us for a little bit of a Q&A session as long as everybody has time. Otherwise, I will see everybody for Thirsty Thursday on Wine Antics Live. We have a vertical book club coming up. Yay! That's the sequel to Sideways, if anybody didn't know. So cheers